Hi, I'm Mikalyn Hay, and I'm with the Critical Thinking Podcast, thinking shit through one podcast at a time.
Welcome to We Want to Touch Radio.
Wow.
Hey, shut up.
Wow.
Yeah, shut up.
Now I'm going to have to be super.
on.
What? She is?
Hey,
No one's afraid.
ready? Come on, hold on.
Let's go at the beginning
The
now.
power of Christ compels you. I thought he said he got rid of all of
I'm not telling you my devil name. Don't worry, we haven't started recording. Well, we are recording, but we haven't actually officially started the show. We always do this to ease our guests.
Wait. Physically start the show. What?
No.
What? Hang on here.
Skype I don't use as often, so I forget it all the time.
You know what that means, right, guys? It means for the stalkers, they can't track her. Sean.
What the f***?
Nice.
Come on.
It took all of 5 seconds to get it out of him.
Yeah. You were supposed to be on your best behavior.
I am on my best behavior. I didn't say the
That's
F
sad.
word.
What
That's
am
what
I
he said.
supposed to say, Miguel? What am I supposed to say
This
to
is
you?
not about you.
Yes.
This is not about you.
Yes.
This is about
Okay.
Miguel being immature. That's what this is about.
What is he not immature, though?
I mean, either way, it's cool. If you want him with you, if you don't, either way, it's not like we're evil or anything, right, Miguel?
What the hell?
He works for the dark side.
We're trying to
Hey,
make
they
sure
got
we don't-
cookies on the dark side. You can tell from Miguel.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're trying not to. I'm not even talking with you people.
No satanic rituals this time, Miguel.
Rick,
we gotta.
All right,
Rick,
okay.
disconnect their mics. We're going to try not to say things that would offend you. We have no idea what would offend you. I apologize in advance.
Don't worry, I'm not easily offended.
All right, so
That's good.
All right, I'm
total legitimate question I have. So you're from Canada, obviously, and
Yeah.
what do you think of Texans? When the first thing you think of when you think of someone from Texas, what is it that you think?
Well, when I think of Texas, I automatically associate it with bigness, because I've heard that everything in Texas is big, and then I've heard it's really, really hot.
Why are you pointing at? Why, thank you. Yes, I am hot.
First of all, 3 people in this room are apparently very large,
and in charge.
and the second one is it is very freaking hot here.
No.
Super hot.
She was talking about me. I'm hot.
Oh,
I'm
no.
hot.
No,
No.
Maybe a little. If I was really, really drunk. And,
Wow. He just admitted to that. Wow.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Critical Thinking Podcast. I'm your host Kyle, along with my co-host
Rick the Rizzo and our other co-host.
Sean.
And the other Mexican in the room, Miguel G.
and this is a critical look at all things gaming, movies, collectibles, and so much more.
Today we have a special guest live from Canada, Mikalyn Hay, who we're very excited to have off, a young 15-year-old phenom who's just has an amazing voice, and we're glad to have you. How are you doing, Mikalyn?
I am great. I'm super excited to be on the show.
You know what? That's it. My job is done here. That was actually pretty good. I like that. Okay, so yeah, introduce yourself. Go. Sorry.
So go, yes, tell us something about yourself. Now, how was
Okay.
your weekend?
I'm Mikalyn. I'm from this place that nobody knows in Canada called Guelph, so I just say I'm from Toronto usually. God, I don't know what to say about myself. I'm never good at this stuff.
Hey, don't worry about it. Just give us how's your weekend been? We'll kick off with our round tabling.
My weekend has honestly been weird because I've been studying for 2 tests that I have tomorrow, and then I went and did the review tonight, and I know nothing for either of the tests despite studying, so I'm not super thrilled about that, but it's fine. I'm not going to have a career in math anyway, or history. Music is what I want to do, clearly, because I'm here, and I sing. And so that I totally wasted my whole weekend because I still don't know anything, but whatever.
So, okay, question. Since, I was in a band for 7 years, and most people don't know that, nor do they care. But I know you have dreams of aspiration, and you wanted, what decided, because, I know that when I got into a band, it was because I just wanted to be in the scene. But for you, I think it's probably a lot different because it wasn't a natural talent of mine. It was something that I just wanted to do. For you, it's a natural talent and your passion goes along with that. So at what point did you realize, you know what, this is something I'm willing to risk and take to that next level?
This sounds kind of weird, but I think I've always known, like, music and being a singer is the first thing I remember ever wanting to be. And it's just always been, like, something that I've wanted to do. And I started really taking it seriously when I was, like, 10. So, like, that's when I started writing my own songs and recording covers and stuff like that.
Okay. And how did you first decide that you were going to... Because obviously we have a CD here. And you've obviously recorded some stuff. At what point do you take it from just kind of playing in your room or learning to play with your, like doing that to taking it to the point where you're like, you know what, I want to write my own songs or write my own albums? At what point did you decide like, hey, this is where I want to go with it? Was it like I started off doing church stuff or I just started off doing like little carnivals? I mean, how did you get from point A to point B?
I kind of started off recording like covers and stuff, just videos of me singing, and then from that point I started performing those covers live at like little busking fairs, and then singing in front of crowds started when I would like cantor for our churches, like Christmas and Easter masses. And then from that point on, it kind of started doing more and more, but I realized like if I want to be able to make it and make my own mark and become my own artist, I would have to write, which I also love writing. It's something that I've always liked doing. I've liked journaling and writing stories since I was little. So it came pretty naturally to me to be able to put music, which is one thing I love, and writing together. So I feel like that's kind of how, like, what kind of made me decide to go from point A to point B in a like way. But then I also just knew that I wanted to record an album and stuff because at shows I wanted to have something physical to give people, things like that, in a way to promote myself.
So what has been your best support system so far?
Is my dad one? Would my dad be a support system?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Be a one.
Yeah, most people don't have that. So yeah, that would be definitely one of them.
Yeah, no, he's been behind me the whole way. He's a sports guy. He's an athlete, and everybody kind of expected me to be an athlete because both my parents are athletes and I'm not. I'm a musician, and he totally like took that and ran with it, ironically enough. And he's been like an amazing support system for me. He's always like supported me and helped me. He's never been like, hey, well, Mikalyn, you're like 6 feet tall, maybe you should play basketball. he agrees with my dreams, and he doesn't push me into anything that he wants to do, and he supports all my crazy ideas, which is I'm honestly in awe of him sometimes, because I'll come out and be like, hey dad, like, so I planned this trip to like Nashville and I want to go, and he'll be like, okay, well, God, you better start saving up now, but sure. Or like, dad, I wrote this song, like, what do you think? He's always kind of there for me to go to, which is good.
That's really cool. Having a daughter myself, I understand. I'm very close with my daughter, so it seems like you're very close with your father as well. So that's really cool. At what age, I guess, if you could pinpoint me, when did the light turn on? Like, hey, I can sing, I can do this. Or when did they discover your hidden talent, or did you discover it? I mean, was it like when you were 4 or 5, or like just one night it just turned on?
I kind of think I discovered it by myself, because I remember when I was in JK, so it was my first year of school. I don't know how the school system works, because I know it's different in every, like, even province in Canada, so it might be different in the States. But when I was 4, I came home from school one day and was like, hey, I entered the talent show, I'm singing, and I'm doing this song. And my parents were like, oh, you sing? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a singer. And they were like, oh, yeah, I bet you are, Mikalyn. And I was like, no, I really am. And then they probably didn't take me seriously, and they probably thought it was a phase, because I know a lot of kids go through the rock star phase, like, I want to be a singer. But my phase literally never ended, and it's not going to. So
I know those phases. My daughter wanted a guitar. She wanted to rock out.
I think every daughter did. My one of mine does, and it just sits there and collects dust.
I sold her guitar.
I wanted a horse for the longest time, and I wanted to be a drummer and a singer. So we got like a little crappy drum kit, and it literally sat in the basement, so we sold it.
I noticed, like, see some of your live shows. You play the piano. Any other instruments besides piano?
I really, really want to play guitar, and I think I'm going to learn soon, but I keep on putting it off, and it's really annoying because I want to. I mean, like, does harmonica and recorder count? Because I play those.
Definitely. It counts.
Is if you can play spoons. If the spoon man can say he plays spoons, I'm sure you can play harmonica and beatbox.
Oh, yeah. I tried to play spoons once. Somebody came to our school that played spoons, and I couldn't do it. It was way more difficult than it looked.
Talking with Jim about you a while back, and that's how I got in contact with you guys, through Jim. He described you as a young lady with an old soul, and I do have to say this, I want to pay you a compliment. You do carry yourself very well for being so young. And your music does have some depth to it. I've purchased a few songs. I mean, you sent us your CDs, obviously, but I've purchased some when I first, he sent them to us, obviously. But wanting to support a young artist like yourself, I went out to iTunes, and I don't even know how that works, but I bought a few.
Thanks so much.
And a couple of them, I bought the ones that kind of struck to me. I mean, it really struck a chord with me, and I really like, and they're in my playlist on my phone. I have an iPhone, and it's like the fourth song in my track, so it plays. I hear it early in the morning every time. What song on your album right now, or which one means the most to you? Right? I mean, they probably all mean the most to you, but which one is like the feels? It's like the one that really, that's my song. That's the one that just makes me like I left it all out there for you.
Okay, I'd say probably, and this one, like the one that I probably listen to the most is Gone in Mirror, just because they're the most ones that are similar to like what I listen to.
Those are the two. Those are the two that I have.
Yeah, those two are like probably my favorite, but I think the ones that like stick with me the most are Home and Now That It's Over. Home was because I wrote that one 100% by myself. It's like more personal than a lot of the other songs. Now That It's Over, just because that was the last one we recorded, and I feel like the production did really well on it, and like it's one of my favorite songs on the album.
We had love like a photograph, and you told me that it would last, and you said that the best hasn't happened yet. That was the plan. Every smile that you promised me, every night that we fell asleep, every breath, every laugh that we both had, when you said that you can't get enough of me. All these moments that I never noticed were right there in front of me, when you told me you'd never leave. Love means nothing now. Now that it's over, now that it's over. Love means nothing now. Now that it's over. Yeah, we loved till the light was gone, and our hands, they kept holding on, and in the dark, just another long heart to heart. Oh, nothing could ever go wrong. Yeah, never go bad. Yeah, never be gone, 'cause that's what we had. That means nothing now. Now that it's over, now that it's over. That means nothing now. Now that it's over. Don't believe your eyes anymore. Don't believe. Don't believe your lies anymore. You told me to believe. That means nothing now. Now that it's over, now that it's over, that means nothing now. Now that it's over, that means
So I'd say those two probably like stick with me the most, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
No, okay, so a couple questions that I have. So being young and from a small town, do you think that limits you, or do you think that the ability of social media by today's standards, i.e. like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, I don't, Instagram, do you think that being in a small town limits you to your ability to grow? Hence, would you have dreams to move to California or to whatever? Or is it like you're like, okay, well, I don't really see a limit because with social media, I'm growing at a rapid pace and I don't really have to go to a bigger city? Because I mean, you're young, you're young, so you have time to think about these things,
Yeah. So I'd say like social media is a really valuable tool in terms of growing like my online profile and stuff and kind of getting myself out there. More, especially with like how accessible everything is now. So I feel like it's been a really powerful tool, but I would like to move to a bigger city, even if it just starts out in like moving to Toronto, which is Canada's kind of music capital. And then I've always like wanted to go to either LA or New York ever since I was super young. I like visited New York for the first time I think like 2 years ago now, and I loved it so much. It was awesome. And I feel like the thing is like, as much as social media is good and can really get you out there, it's always good to be in a place that's like a big city, especially for music, because that way there's more opportunities, there's more shows, there's more people that you can meet. People kind of gather in those like big cities like Nashville, Toronto, Los Angeles, New York. People gather there, especially for music. So I feel like it'd be good to live in one of those places, or even just like live there for like a year or so, or visit.
What is something that people don't know about you as far as your own musical taste? What's something that you listen to that people might be surprised by?
I feel like people don't think that I listen to like certain 80s music or like older music, like different types of it. And then I feel like people don't know that I listen to rap.
I knew it.
Nice. Do you know NF? Are you into NF?
I don't know them. No.
Look him up.
I have him on my phone. I'm in
The
NF.
dude is awesome. But what would be some of the rappers you actually listen to?
Okay, Kendrick Lamar is one, which is like a lot of people listen to Kendrick Lamar. I'm gonna go on my Spotify and look at some because I feel like of course I'm Canadian, so I listen to Drake because he's literally from a city like 45 minutes away from me. 21 Savage. Nobody knows this guy, but Young Gravy, and he's literally so funny. He always samples like well-known songs in his songs, and then it makes them super catchy, and people always like roast me for liking him, but like me and a few of my friends just know all the words to his song. So
Nice. So what would be as influences that you have, what are your musical influences really?
I think lately I've been compared a lot to like the newer stuff I'm doing, like Tove Lo and Dua Lipa, who are like some pretty big influences. But when I was younger and first started out writing, another influence of mine was Marina and the Diamonds, and not a lot of people know her, but she was like the first person that I really started listening to like religiously, and I ended up picking up on a lot of her, like the things that she does stylistically. And then also Coldplay. I've always listened to Coldplay, so they're a pretty big influence on me, I'd say.
Where do you drive most of your inspiration from? I know that I just know that from experience that you drive it from your circumstances, but where do you find that driving the most, like your most popular songs? Like, okay, I'm rewording the question. So you're sitting there and you're writing a song, and you're like, okay, I'm going to write this song, and at some point you're like, okay, I'm driving this inspiration from ? That's one. And then the second one is that song that you wrote that you think, oh, this is going to be a really big, people are going to like me for this one, and then it turns out they like you for another song. Does that ever surprise you? You know what I mean? That one song is catchier to the public than it is to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like a song that's like that is Cheap Canadian Whiskey. A lot of people like it, and it's one that's actually my most like well received on a lot of like radio airplay shows. It surprises me because I wrote that song when I was like 12, and I just recorded it for fun last year in Nashville when I went down for a trip.
Thought no one cared about you. Had so many things to prove. You were blind and refused to see. You would never stop to listen to me. Turned away from my help. Always doubting yourself. People say you went off the rails. I just think you're stuck on the wrong trail. You crave the cheap Canadian whiskey on the side of the road, and the yelling and the screaming when you thought no one was home, and the things that you would do when you thought no one was paying attention to you. Writing a novel on the things in your head. For a while you had me worried you'd end up dead, doing crazy stuff all for the thrill, like a trophy hunter going in for the kill. You crave the cheap Canadian whiskey on the side of the road, and the yelling and the screaming when you thought no one was home, and the things that you would do when you thought no one was paying attention to you. Send me a text in the middle of the night, giving me another piece of advice. Told me that meeting boys was easy, getting drunk was fun, but when you feel yourself falling in love, turn and run, run to the cheap Canadian whiskey on the side of the road, and the yelling and the screaming when you thought no one was home, and the things that you would do when you thought no one was paying attention to you.
That's been pretty well received, and that's surprising to me, just because I wrote it when I was younger and I didn't think that it was like one of my stronger songs in a way. And I feel like I get a lot of my inspiration from like real life experiences. So if something happens to me, I'll write about it. If I think of a cool story or hear a title that like sticks with me, like something that my dad started like doing and I picked up on is like if he would see something that could be a good song title, he would text me and be like, hey, like, what do you think about this? And then we get the Globe and Mail and we'll go to the authors, like they're the best-selling books or whatever, and then look through the titles and see if anything kind of inspires us or sticks out to us. And then if he sees something that he likes, he'll tell me and I'll go write a song. If I see something like that, I'll go write a song. And so I like get a lot of my inspiration from either stories that I hear from my friends, or if I just like have a title that I see or an idea for a song theme, really.
So if an album contains approximately 12 to 13 tracks, how many tracks have you written? Like how many songs do you have to sift through and go, okay, I got 45 songs. I really like these songs. How do you decide of which ones of those go on your album? Do they all have the same pertaining theme? Is it Kyle, I only really have 20 songs and I perfected them, or is it you know what I'm saying? Like, is there a lot of songs? Is it just how do you decide?
I feel like it's like different for every artist, and since this was my first album, it was different than how my next album's going to be and how I'm going to pick. Like, I feel like with that one, it'll be more themed and be this like a similar genre instead of having like 3 pop songs and then a country song and then like that kind of thing. And for me personally, with this album, I had about 30 songs, some songs that I wrote just me, some songs that I co-wrote, some songs that were demos. And we took those and listened to them. And the ones that were already produced obviously went onto the album because we had already spent money on them. And then ones that I wanted to record that like stuck out to me kind of. And the way that songs stick out to me is I just listen to them and see which one I like best. I don't know. I feel like there's probably a better formula, or I send it to people that I trust and see what they say a lot of the time too. So that's how I kind of picked what I wanted to go on 12/15, but I don't think it's going to be the same for my next album. I think there will be more songs to pick from and they'll be more themed.
I saw that you did a cover on 21 Pilots Stressed Out, which, first of all, I literally just saw that. I was like, dang it, I can't believe I didn't listen to that. I didn't hear that one. I didn't see that. I've listened to quite a few of your songs, your originals and some of your covers. And one of the things that I really like is the fact that there is so much variety in your style. And you do a lot of different sounds, but at the same time, your voice is your voice and it's very unique. I enjoy the fact that it's not that fluffy kind of stuff when you sing and the things that you write. It's more kind of deeper material. And so my question is, I know that you have to kind of make a compromise when you're an artist for the money. It comes to the point where how much am I doing it, just purely for me and the art, and how much is it because this is what commercially works and, makes a big deal. Right now, you're kind of labeled to a certain extent as indie, which, I love indie music. I love the stuff that's out there that's different. I love the fact that it's outside the box. What do you think really going forward? Are you going to kind of try to streamline and commercialize and define a sound that's going to put you in a niche? Or do you really kind of just want to stay open and do things your own way?
I think to some extent I can still kind of commercialize but do things my way, if that makes sense. But there's so many like amazing artists who kind of did commercialize for a little bit, and then once they had a solid fan base, solid following, that wouldn't they weren't one-hit wonders, or they had like a good solid backing to their career, they went back to doing like what they really, really liked doing. So like Lady Gaga, her album Art Pop is way different than her album Joanne, because Joanne is more her, but Art Pop was more commercialized and got her name out there and won her a Grammy and that kind of thing. So I feel like that's probably a smart way to do it, just because in order to make money, you have to do what kind of the public wants. Like, I feel like especially in art, it can't always just be about you. It has to be like what other people want to hear too. But then there also still has to be a pretty significant piece of you in your art, or else it's not even yours anymore.
Absolutely. You lose the originality, you lose the feel that people know, like, this is definitely Mikalyn Hay. This isn't somebody else. This is her all the way. And definitely get that from your songs, that it's you. Like, you own it. You're not like copying off of somebody else. It's totally coming from you, and you can feel that. And there's a lot of emotion that you really carry in your songs. Like, it's coming so strong through your voice. It's amazing. But I know a lot of people, I've listened to some of the interviews you've had with some other shows, and I know a lot of them always comment and say they're so impressed of how mature your voice is for your age. And that is absolutely true. I mean, I don't like to just freaking repeat what other people have already said, but you really do have such an amazing voice, for your age and everything. It's incredible.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thanks for taking the words out of my mouth, Sean. Appreciate it.
Do you find yourself still being at odds with taking compliments? Like, I see hesitation sometimes whenever we compliment you. Like, do you find it like still kind of what's the word I want to use? Awkward. Not awkward, but you know what I mean, where it's like, oh, thank you. Like, you appreciate what they're saying, but it's kind of like, I've gotten to this point. Like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I do feel like that sometimes because, like, I know I've worked really hard to get to where I'm at, and, like, I know that I'm pretty good at what I do, but then at the same time, like, in my house, it's always, like, kind of not discouraged to take compliments, but, like, I don't want to seem, like, cocky or anything. So I'm always kind of hesitant before because I don't want to be like, oh, yeah, I'm so good. Like, I that at all. So I always I feel like I totally do hesitate when taking compliments because I don't want to seem like arrogant or anything.
The best thing about that whole thing right there was she moved her hair too with the hand. I'm like, so good. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was perfect. Of course.
I see people like that too, and I'm like, ooh, like, I understand confidence, but there's like a line between confidence and cockiness, and I don't really want to cross that.
Now, I know Sean said you're indie, obviously, because, you're still doing your own CDs here, and it's on iTunes. Just like us here at Critical Thinking, we strive to be the best. We're pushing ourselves very hard, and we're not Smodcast. We're not all those guys 5x5. We're not blowing up the world. So there's times that we get a little frustrated with the progress. I mean, I don't know if you get frustrated with the progress that you're going on. I mean, do you want it to see happen a lot faster, or are you fine with the pace that it's going at right now?
I'm okay with the pace that it's going at right now. I think, especially because I'm young, so I want to have time to kind of make sure that I'm not growing too fast, because I'm going at a good pace for myself right now. I'm still going slow enough to take in all of the information that I can, kind of thing. Like, at every single show I go to, I learn something, and every single comment on YouTube I'll read, and every single thing, like, social media post I see, and I still have time to go and listen to people give interviews and talks and stuff. So I feel like my pace right now is good. I think in like a year or so, I'll want it to be going much faster, kind of thing. And of course, there's times I look on social media and I see there's like people who are my age that are doing like different things, and they're way more, like, they have more followers and stuff like that. But I feel like the path that I'm on right now is right for me, like at the point that I'm at in my life and my learning curve.
I'll say this before Sean says, no, I'm not taking over her Twitter account. I'm not the Twitter master. Stop.
You are the Twitter master, but okay, we'll move
so
on.
Question, of all the social medias, no, okay, well, fine, you go.
Go ahead, you're talking now.
Of all the social medias, of all of them, which one do you get on the most, and which one do you find the best, most feedback for what it is that you're trying to do, where you find the interaction the best? I don't do Twitter very much. People can tell that by my Twitter, because I literally am not. It's like our podcast has like, I don't know, some redonkulous amount of followers, and I have like 80. I'm never on there. I just post pictures of my truck and shit. So it's like, boring. But it's like, which medium do you find that you have the best interaction with?
So I feel like, and this is weird because I feel like Facebook's kind of getting less and less popular with people my age, but Facebook's good for like interacting with music people, just because everyone that I've met so far that does music seriously has a Facebook page, so I just end up following all of them on there, and like it's good for updates. Twitter's also really good for that too, I feel like. But the one that I probably go on the most, like besides those two, is Instagram. But for Instagram, I kind of try to make it like so that you can see a different side to me than you see in like my Twitter and all that stuff. Like I post pictures of not just like me at the piano, but like me and my friends and stuff like that. And so I feel like Instagram's probably my favorite, just because like you can see a side to me that's not like on Twitter and stuff, because I tend to remain like pretty professional on Twitter. Like I only tweet about music and stuff like that, versus on Instagram I'll just post pictures of kind of whatever I want.
That's really good, keeping the people in touch with you, seeing who you really are beyond the singer. That's really wise. Again, wise. I want to pay you a compliment real quick, and then I want to ask you another question, which I probably forgot already. You remind me of a young JoJo.
Oh, yeah?
When she started off very young, and then, her music, as it went on, it's matured, and she's where she's at now. I can see you kind of taking the same path, and I am excited to hear how your music is going to grow as well. And that's why when you said earlier you're pleased with the pace that it's going right now, I said that's perfect because it means as you mature, your music is going to become more and more in depth. And it's going to mean more, and it's going to be stronger lyrics, and that's going to be interesting. I mean, because right now, like Sean said earlier, your stuff is good. We enjoy it, and I can only wait to see down the road, and we can be like, "Hey, we know that girl," and she's like, "I don't know those guys."
I don't know.
Now I can't remember my question.
Okay, so
Yeah, we were waiting.
all right, so I
I'll think about it.
I have a show related question. So just for you, we're going to like one of your songs or whatever. If you give us a suggestion of what you would particularly like to put up on there, that would be something we would love to do with your permission.
Yeah, of course. And I think Mirror would be a good one.
Okay.
I dove right in. Didn't bring a parachute. Fell right through. Hit the water hard. Moving too fast. Spiraling out of control. Was touch and go. Went a little far. You taught me how to turn a blind eye. I showed you how to keep a shoulder cold. No one walked away without a scar. I've been digging through the pieces. Your heart is out of reach, but objects may seem nearer through this rippled mirror. I've been digging through the pieces. Your heart is out of reach, but objects may seem nearer through this rippled mirror. Try to erase the ink that's left upon my chest. I'll attest. I don't really wanna forget to forget. You taught me how to turn a blind eye. I showed you how to keep a shoulder cold. No one walked away without a scar. I've been digging through the pieces. Your heart is out of reach, but objects may seem nearer through this rippled mirror. I've been digging through the pieces. Your heart is out of reach, but objects may seem nearer through this rippled mirror. You taught me how to turn a blind eye. I showed you how to keep a shoulder cold. No one walked away without a scar. I've been digging through the pieces. Your heart is out of reach, but objects may seem nearer through this rippled mirror. I've been digging through the pieces. Your heart is out of reach, but objects may seem nearer through this rippled mirror.
So switching gears to a little more lighter side, what kind of TV shows do you watch, or do you do TV at all?
Okay, I watch a lot of Netflix, and it's always changing. Like right now, I'm binge watching Black Mirror.
Okay. Nice.
It's so like that show. I always am watching it, and then I get so into it, and then I can't stop watching it, and then I have school the next day, and it's 3 a.m. and I'm just like, oh, that was stupid.
I feel you on that one. My brother loves to watch that one. We watch it together. Like I'm good for like 1 or 2 episodes. After that, it's like, okay, I gotta stop. I'm gonna get depressed now. I get way too deep into this. Like I gotta let it go.
Like since I started watching that show, I just have all these like everything's a conspiracy now because I'm like, oh my god. No, I'm super into that show right now. But then of course, I feel like my the stuff I watch is like such a variety. Like I also watched Stranger Things, of course.
Yes.
Who didn't? But then I also will watch like Family Guy or Riverdale or like some super like dramatic, like over the top shows such as like Vampire Diaries or Gossip Girl. So it really goes like totally anyway. It depends on my mood. Sometimes I'll watch a show that I like watched in like grade 5 just for like the throwback kind of thing. And like older shows such as Freaks and Geeks. I absolutely love that show. It's sad they only made 1 season, but whatever. So yeah, honestly, I don't even know. It's whatever I'm kind of feeling that day.
Sean, we were hoping you were going to say Supernatural.
But I just started watching Supernatural.
Oh, it's a great show.
Yeah.
We're huge fans of that show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I started watching it a few days ago, and like the first like 5 minutes, there's like a dead girl on the roof, and it's just like, this is gonna be wild.
Yes, it is so over the top.
Oh, man. So here's my question for you. And I don't know if I missed this or not. I mean, you have your album, but music video. I don't even know if you have one yet or not. Is there a music video out there for any song?
I have one out for Mirror. And then I just filmed one for Now That It's Over, like a few days ago, like last Monday or a week ago. Yeah. So last week I filmed one for Mirror, and then there's a lot of lyric videos out there too. And my first like song that I ever really wrote and recorded, Carnival, has one. It's funny looking at that now.
You know what's funny to me is a lot of these things remind me of so you record music videos and you've written an album and you stay up and you watch Netflix and you have insecurities just like the rest of us, and it just always reminds me of the interesting topic of one thing that society doesn't. I don't know, what the hell are you doing, Rick?
You're not in the picture.
That's okay. Nobody needs to see me. I am the one king. What is it? Cobra Commander in the background. You know, what interesting about the...
He was once.
You can't even see my ass anyway. I got a giant microphone.
She doesn't want to see that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, shut up. My point is that it's interesting. Like, so you think to yourself, like right now you're a rising star. Now, we don't know what the future holds for you. There's no way for anybody to know. But you're a rising star and you're just like the rest of us, which is the sweet irony of being in entertainment. You know, we blew up and we had no clue that we were going to blow up. We did it as a joke. It was kind of like a joke just for us to have fun. And here you are enjoying singing and doing singing and all sorts of shit. Both of you motherfuckers. I'm talking here.
The disrespect in this place.
Yes. You know, and this is us at our best behavior. That's what's even more sad.
That's not our base behavior.
So, but I think it's funny that you watch these shows and you do these things because that's the reality of the entertainment business, period. It's just, we're just normal people. You love to sing and you're really good at it. You love to do those things and you excelled in that area and you were given the proper motivation to do so. And so did we, and we kind of blew up in that sense. So the humble nature of listening to her talk about what shows she watches and like how she's a normal everyday kid, just like the rest of us used to be, because we're all old as dirt in here. But
wow,
you know,
thank you.
Well,
Millennials young.
Yeah. You leave the baby out of this, but it's just kind of cool that you're just a normal person, because it's like whenever we meet a celebrity at the Comic-Cons or we interview them, it's kind of like, oh crap, they're normal just like the rest of us fools.
They're people.
Yeah, they're people too. You know, it's like, oh my God. So it's funny how people don't think that they can achieve these things. They don't believe in themselves enough. That's why I asked about your support system a while back, because sometimes if you don't have a good support system, the strength that you must have within you to push yourself to those limits, to step out on that stage, to do what it is that you do, especially at a young age that you are. I mean, shit, at 15, I was lucky enough to even talk to people, let alone, you know, and go on a stage and to shoot videos and to put yourself out there on blast, because that takes a lot. You know, that takes a lot of courage to do what you do.
Thank you.
It was a statement, Miguel.
I didn't say nothing. I was about to agree with you 100%.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
And I was going to add on to that, actually.
Oh, go for it.
So here you are. Let's say you're performing at... Where were you at the other night where your dad was recording you? We couldn't really see because it was kind of dark. You were doing
that was the Mill Street Brewery Lights Out. I'm literally 15 and I can't have any Mill Street, but I got a free beer.
Nice. I'm calling the cops. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. So do you perform like at... I say this because I actually went and saw a guy perform at a Starbucks once at a coffee shop. But do you perform at those kind of places as well, not just breweries and everything else?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because like literally 2 weeks ago, I was performing at a Starbucks with another Canadian singer-songwriter, Christy Hagerman.
I saw that.
Yeah, so I was at a Starbucks. I do a lot of coffee shops. There's a place in Guelph called the Red Brick Cafe that I go to like once a month or so. And yeah, like I'd say it's always a mix. Sometimes I'll be like background noise at a restaurant, and then sometimes I'll be like the main act at like a cafe or like an acoustic set. Or sometimes I'll do something like what I did Saturday, which was a Earth Hour thing, which was completely random and nobody was expecting it, and all the lights went out and I was just singing. And at first, like, you never really know what to expect going into every show. I did not I wasn't sure what to expect going in Saturday, just because I knew that I was going to be performing at this like really cool, like, I don't even know, restaurant place. And it's mainly like there's big TVs and stuff for hockey, and people are not going to know I'm going to be there. And then all the hockey TVs are going to go off. And I'm like, I wonder how many people are going to get mad and like leave. And only like 4 people left, but they ended up coming back actually. And so like the first set of that like went like fine. I was just background noise. But then the second set, people started really getting into it. And like we sang happy birthday to somebody there. And then I was taking suggestions from the crowd, and then somebody from the crowd came up and sang, and I played for them. Like, so every show I feel like is different, and like you never really know what you're getting into.
That's really cool. So for you as an artist, you know, there's kind of like, I would say, two kinds of people, and then maybe a middle kind of person. For you as an artist, is it really like more about the performance and the interaction and being up there and doing something raw? Or is it about the sound and the art itself, you know, the production? And, you know, I'm not going to say studio versus live, because what I'm going to say is like the live and the raw versus the creative process and what you actually create.
Yeah, I feel like when in live performance, it's more important that to kind of engage the crowd than your own artistic kind of preferences and stuff. But then at the same time, you have to have some of that there. Like you have to have like what makes the song tick, but you also have to be able to entertain the people that you're there to kind of entertain, especially if it's like you're being paid to do it, which sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. So like, especially if I'm like not kind of getting paid to entertain them and I'm just there for like myself, then I'll do it more my way. But if I'm there like as like background noise, then I'll do more songs that I wouldn't usually do, like jazz songs, or if I'm there to like entertain them, then I'll do songs that people will kind of gravitate towards more. So like I feel like the artistic backing of it, like what I go into with like in the mindset I go into the studio with, sometimes gets brought into live performances, but other times it doesn't. It really depends on the crowd, and that's the thing. Like you have to be able to read the crowd. So, for example, like I have a song called Ass, and one time I sang it at an open mic, and it was really well received, and like people found it funny, and it was like super fun. And that was the first time I ever played it live. So then the next like it wasn't an open mic, it was a songwriter round. So then I had one the next day, and it was like people were so offended. So it really like you have to. That was a fail on my part. I totally didn't read the crowd right.
Gotcha. It's totally contextual. But I love how you answered that it's the entertaining, being an entertainer and being an artist. So what are you really more in love with, or do you love one or the other more, being the entertainer or being the artist?
I think being the artist comes super naturally to me. And it's something that I'm always going to love. But in order to get my art out there, I have to be an entertainer. So it's a skill that I have to learn, and I have to like hone and work on. And I know so many amazing like entertainers who are also artists, and they combine it perfectly. And I want to be like that. Now,
this will be a little interesting here. I'm about to say, I'm trying to word this correctly.
Just
okay.
With it, Miguel. With it.
No. I wanted to say it the right. It was going in my head for a long time, and I can't really figure out how I want to say it. Now another question popped into my head. Thanks, Josh. Okay, I'm glad you said earlier. You told us that you're kind of tough skinned. Stuff doesn't really bother you. but it's human nature to be bothered by stuff. I mean, you said obviously people were offended that one night, and it was your bad call. But at some point, you have to like not really like who gives a damn? I'm here to perform, damn it. And I don't want crap. Strike that whole thing from the conversation.
Strike from the record, Your Honor.
That was never there. Okay, here, let's go with a happier question. I'm looking at the look. She's like, what is he trying to say? I'm just messing with you. Okay, I'm a dad. I have a daughter. Everything my daughter does to me is very important. I cherish everything she did, playing basketball, anything else. Anyone ever said anything negative about my child, I'd be super pissed. Now, my daughter and me are super close. I don't know how close you are with your father, but we're very, very tight. Yeah. So if, like you said, playing in that crowd and it was negatively received, how do you think it'd affect your father? Would you think he'd be the kind of guy to jump up on the stage and like, hey, what are you doing? This is my kid and blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God, I would be so mad if he did that. So mad. No, and like in that case, like it's a joke song. Like the song is like about me being an ass. Like sometimes I'm an ass, because I feel like there's a lot of songs that are like, oh, you're an ass, but this one was I'm an ass. Like I know it, and people just like didn't find it funny versus like the night before they did. So like in that case, like I wasn't really offended or anything. I didn't really care. And of course, like there's some comments that like I get that affect me, but I feel like the negative comments honestly do affect my dad a little bit more. Like someone will say like, you totally used auto-tune when it was like a live off the floor cover, and then they'll be like, oh, like you suck. And then I'll be like, okay, well, like I know I didn't, and everybody else watching the video knows I didn't. But my dad will be like, okay, well, we respectfully have to answer like, no, it's a live off the floor cover. Versus me, I'm more like, if I was to respond, I'd be like, no, you're just wrong.
All right, I'm going to beat you to this, Sean. I got two for you now. Number one, Rick, it was ass, A-S-S, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, for first time ever, give us a couple of lyrics right now. Sing a couple lyrics of that song.
Oh my God. Okay.
Should expect that.
Well, you just put her on the spot. Dang. She didn't have her like piano and mic ready.
This is acapella,
It's
bro.
all good. It's all good. I have literally the lyrics right here, and I think I remember most of them. So
Prepared.
when nothing seems to go quite right, I'll hold on to it through the night. Through the night, I'll send passive-aggressive texts. You'll never know what's coming next. Coming next. When all you did is breathe too loud, I'll turn around and start to yell. And when you get upset, I'll start to cry. 'Cause I can act just like a kid. I'll turn into a crazy bitch and then just blame it on my PMS. And I don't know why I act this way sometimes. I love you, but I know you know that I am an ass. I know it. Sometimes I really show it. Those days when nothing goes my way, I'll take your day and blow it. I'm selfish, I can tell. I can be a douche as well. But I never mean any harm. I'll wreak havoc and ask what's wrong. 'Cause I'm an ass. That's the first verse in chorus.
Nice.
Sounds like my theme song, bro.
You beat me to it.
I'm going to use that as my theme song from now on. You
You're PMS, huh?
What?
Of course. Well, he was getting the sex change. We've known that for a long time.
Dude, my wife would tell you, yeah, you have that men PMS going on right now.
Yeah.
That's freaking... Okay, first of all, off the cuff, she was ready. She knew something like crap was going to happen. She knew one of us was going to be an ass and asked that. And that was amazing. I would love to hear that with the music and everything else on it. I think it would be pretty freaking awesome. And now the next question for you. Yeah, I'm asking questions,
Okay,
people.
go ahead.
What would you say to a young little girl that comes up to you at a coffee shop? Well, I was going to say a brewery, but that would be kind of weird. At a coffee shop and says, "You're my idol. I want to be just like you." What would you say?
That actually happened Friday. This little girl named Sequoia came up to me, and I was at a competition Friday for a folk thing. And I'm not really a folk artist, but it was super fun. And I saw her in the crowd, and she fingers crossed, her toes crossed, and her legs crossed that I would get picked, and I didn't. But then afterwards, she came up to me and was like, "Oh, like I sing and write songs too," and she was super sweet, and it totally like impacted me. It was probably one of like the sweetest things that ever happened at a show. And because she was like, oh, like I want to be just like you, like what do I do? And I was like, just keep like practicing, keep working hard, and if you love it, like you're gonna get somewhere. Because if you love it enough and you work hard enough, you're gonna be able to do it. You're gonna be able to get somewhere.
Very, very nice. Now, I've always told my children, and I've made the statement about myself, as I'm quite older. I'm the oldest statesman in this group. I'm 46. And I've always wanted to leave an impact on the world. So people remember I was here. My children remember me because I raised them and gave them values and whatnot and everything else. You realize that you're leaving an impact on the world as well, just with your music and you talking to that young lady. You definitely need to keep your head up high. You inspire people with your music, and I think you're going to see a lot more success down the road. So don't ever let the haters get on you. The name, the other Twitter fan name. Don't ever let people really hate on you. Keep your head
Jim
up. Yes.
thought of-
Yeah, he told me this story. I've talked to Jim several times now on Messenger. I've even talked to him on the phone. I just want to tell you, you're going to be a great one. So anytime you ever feel that someone's crapping on you, reach out to the Critical Five here. We're no longer the 4, we're the 5, and we have your back. You're going to be great. I have the guys are looking at me. They agree with me. Guys can ask questions. I just wanted to put that out there that I'm very impressed. And I just wanted you to know that if you haven't thought of it, you are leaving marks on the world, and you're leaving a good impressions on young artists and young people, period, especially in this day and age where everything is going crazy. That's outstanding. That's something really cool. And it's something that resonates with me. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I have to springboard off that and say, everything that I did of research, because occasionally we do research. Occasionally we're actually prepared.
I'm off the cuff, bro.
Yeah, so springboard after that, I did my research, and I checked out every interview I could possibly find that anybody did with you. Not everybody else had that opportunity, unfortunately, because not everybody gets to have the flexible work I do. But
unemployed, he does nothing.
I have nobody that's dependent upon me. That's nice. You know how that is. But
she's making a living. What are you doing, bro?
You don't know anything about me, Mikal. Just what happens in this podcast is the only thing you know about.
Continue with your question. This young lady needs to go to bed.
What? Wow, now he's telling you to go to bed. Okay. I was very impressed by the interviews and I even read your blog posts on your website and saw, what you were writing. You seem like a really authentic person. Like you really are honest about what you're really feeling. You're not faking anything. You're not putting a mask on and pretending to be something that you aren't. You're not so overly concerned with image. You're just, you're really raw and really genuine. And that's something that I think is rare. And I think that it is something that really can have a very strong positive influence on everyone, because I feel like, especially here in the States, we have such a plastic people kind of thing coming out of Hollywood, coming out of the music industry. Everybody's made up, the makeup artists, everything is airbrushed on the magazines, And with you, it's raw and it's real, and it's with a sense of beauty, with a sense of elegance that I think is just, it's amazing. I think that if that is carried all the way throughout your career, I think that the impact that will have, especially because there will be little girls that are idolizing you, or even boys, and people that just see what you're doing, and then other people in the music industry, they're going to look and they're going to say, well, she's not having to sell out and act like somebody else, she's not having to put on these airs, she's just being herself. And that can be a strong, compelling force in the industry.
You're talking about the pressure of having to sexualize every freaking thing. Just because you're a female singer, you have to do this or do that, versus a male singer can get away with just being whatever.
Well, I don't know. There's Justin Timberlake, so.
Well, I bring sexy back every time I come into this podcast, but I'm just saying.
But there are other female artists who don't sexualize everything, but even though they are out there compared to other artists, and her professionalism makes her stand out compared to a lot of what's out there.
It's off the charts for a young 15 young lady, and I don't mean to keep on saying that, but it's like. Yeah, I don't know what I want to say. Forgive me. I didn't mean to interrupt. It is off the charts. The level of maturity for this young lady is outstanding.
I agree.
Okay, wait, am I back? Because I was my computer was glitching for a minute.
Yeah, you're back. You're back in all the way.
We're just talking about how much we hate your music and don't want to.
Wow.
Just joking. No, not really.
No, we're HAY haters.
Right. No, the extreme colleague from the other side of town, Josh, was merely saying that your level of professionalism is amazing. You're not out there doing the old Madonna, blah, blah, blah. I can't think of any other nasty.
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, you're not doing that crap, which we commend you for, because you're letting your music and everything else stand for it. And that's
but I would say even personality wise, because it is that, but it goes deeper than that. It's showing her actual character, her actual persona, and not becoming like a stage person that is like, you can tell there's just something fake there. There's something, not real. With her, it's like so the opposite. Like you can tell in everything, she is authentically herself. And I think that's, if there's anything that is a message of the world that little girls and everybody needs, it's to actually be genuine and be yourself and not become like some kind of image as opposed to what you really are.
Preach it, brother, preach it.
And the Lord said, no, I'm not going there.
So here's one for you then. Since you're doing your music and everything else now, have you even thought of maybe going to like a, because I'm friends with Chad Rook, another Canadian. He's on Siren. He's been on Supernatural. He's been on a bunch of stuff. He's pretty cool. Have you ever thought about doing like a TV show, something where letting them know that, hey, you also kind of sing, so you get like a song bit going on a show like that? Maybe just one episode here and there. That seems like it would be a nice quick boost for you.
That'd be so cool. I've been on like set a few times. I have a few friends who are actresses, and for some pretty big like shows in Canada and for some Disney movies, and I've been on set with them, and it's been super fun. Like, of course, I haven't been in anything, but like I've always like enjoyed like TV and stuff, of course. So I feel like that'd be super fun. It's TV is like tough. It's like music too. Like, if I could ever do something like that, I totally would.
I mean, I was just asking. I could see it actually helping her along the ways, and I can see as her music continues to get popular in Canada and everywhere else. I'm assuming those opportunities are probably going to come your way, especially if you're writing something. And as your music matures even more, you're going to get. I mean, as someone told me once before, the possibilities are limitless.
What shall become of our steadfast crew? And will Mikalyn make it out of the sheer madness of the Critical 5 alive? We hope you enjoyed part 1 of this show with Mikalyn Hay. Stay tuned for part 2 coming next week. And thanks so much for listening.
Hey guys, you can connect with us on iTunes
At Critical Thinking Podcast.
and Twitter,
At critic_thinking.
and also on Facebook and Instagram.
At Critical Thinking Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Critical Thinking is on Beyond the Dawn Radio, which is known for playing the best indie radio music around the world.
On Thursdays at 7 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Central Time.
And if you like the show, please 5-star the episode and tell your friends. So thank you for joining us, thinking shit through one podcast at a time.